Hi-Fi Rush seemingly came out of nowhere. I saw that it was released and got solid reviews, but I held off due to games like Tears of the Kingdom and Digimon World Next Order just decimating my free time. So I finally bought it during a Steam sale and, oh god, it's good. Like, why is it so good? Hi-Fi Rush is a rhythm-based action game that revolves around wannabe rock star named Chai. He has a disabled arm and decides to go to Vandelay Technologies to get a limb replacement. Once the procedure is about to start, his music player gets thrown on top of him and a limb replacement procedure embeds it inside of him. Because of this, he can feel a musical connection to his surroundings. He can now use this arm to collect garbage on the ground to create a weapon. Along the way, he is joined by a cat named 808, a woman named Peppermint, a man named Macaroon, a robot partner named Cinnamon, and Vandelay's security chief, Corsica. They all team up and decide to stop Kale, who is the CEO of Vandelay, but gets stopped many times along the way. I'll keep the story brief, but there are some great moments and nice twists that I didn't expect. The gameplay for Hi-Fi Rush is fast-paced and great, though it takes a few levels to get going. Chai has a weak attack and a strong attack that he can string combos out of. If the player attacks to the beat, they'll deal more damage and allow them to use combo attacks. The player also has a dodge, which when done to the beat, can be used 3 times in quick succession. Maybe I'm just easy to please, but I love dashing to the beat all over the place. The player can also parry the enemy's attacks. This can be done in a regular combat situation, but tougher enemies will stop the flow of gameplay entirely and make it a one-on-one situation. Sometimes the player will have to dodge during the parry sections. It should be noted that the player can dodge the 1v1 parry sections if they can dodge the initial attack that causes them. Some enemies will have the ability to fly or hover. Chai can get to these guys by either jumping or using his grapple. Some of the combos that Chai can pull off will need to be done in the air. Chai can use his grapple on ground enemies as well. This can be very helpful in repositioning Chai around the battlefield. As Chai kills enemies, he will earn batteries to refill his reverb gauge. This will allow Chai to use a special attack. 2 can be bought and switched between, but only 1 can be active at a time. I went through most of the game with Pick Me Up, which will restore Chai's health. I tinkered with some other ones, sure, but Pick Me Up restored health, which is very useful for someone who eats ass like me. It should be noted that the later specials, these will require more reverb gauges. For example, Pick Me Up only requires 2, while Hibiki takes 4. Chai has a health bar that will deplete when enemies hit him. This can be refilled by finding health packs around the world. Like the reverb gauge, the player can find items to increase the amount of health bars as well. The player can also find gears, which can be used to buy chips. These will upgrade either Chai's or his partner's abilities. Up to 4 slots can be bought, and the chips themselves can be upgraded. The caveat to this, though, is the fact that an upgraded chip will take up more slots. It adds a nice wrinkle to the gameplay, and some of these are just brilliant. Chai can call 3 allies both in battle and while exploring the world. Peppermint can shoot objects from afar, and her bullets can break enemy shields. Macaroon can destroy certain walls, as well as enemy sea shields. Corsica can put out fire and power up generators, which will usually open up a new combat or platforming section. There are 5 difficulty settings that the player can pick, with the hardest one being unlockable. Rhythm Master will automatically kill the player if their rhythm meter drops to D rank in a battle. Speaking of difficulties, the hideout will show the player what levels they beat at what ranks, with their score attached too. It's a nice way to incentivize players to play at every level if they are hardcore enough. A couple of side modes were added too. The Rhythm Tower will have the player take on waves of enemies and bosses until they either perish or reach the top. The BPM Rush will have the player fight waves of enemies while the beats permitted increases up to 200. The game itself is short and sweet, but getting all the collectibles, doing the levels on the hardest difficulty, messing around with the side modes, it could take a long time. And for only $30, hey, I can't complain. Another thing that I just have to commend the game for is its visuals. They're just beautiful. They went for a more cel-shaded approach, and I fully approve. The cutscenes in particular, they just look so great. The animations are fluid, the voice acting is top tier, the in-game action looks nice. Even just watching the background is fun. Pretty much every single object moves around to the beat. There isn't too much more to go on about here, but the graphics, they are just gorgeous and unique. The soundtrack, it also slaps pretty hard. There's a streamer-safe mode, and I appreciate when devs understand what types of players actually play their games. This will replace the licensed music in the game with music that was made in-house, but it's still pretty damn good. I play with the licensed music most of the time, though. Not too much else to go on about here, either. The soundtrack is good. Moving on. There are definitely a few things that still really annoy me about Hi-Fi Rush, though. The first one is the platforming. For whatever reason, Chai just feels so stiff. Sometimes jumping on a platform feels harder to do than it should be. And listen, I've been playing 3D platformers since the N64 days. I still like to boot up Super Mario 64, Psychonauts, Banjo-Kazooie, games like that to this day. Dodging to the beat helps a decent bit, but controlling Chai still feels off to me. The levels could definitely use some more variety. A lot of the game takes place in buildings that mostly just blend to me. I appreciated when the game took a detour route, like the lava-filled cavern for example. The levels are also a bit too long as well, which can really make some of these levels blend in my mind. As one who likes to explore the world of games, exploring the levels of Hi-Fi Rush, it honestly just got tedious after a while. They try to entice you with collectibles, graffiti, gears to upgrade shit. But the thought of, is this level over yet? That popped into my head a decent bit. It's not too bad, and the game is relatively short overall, I still found it worth mentioning. Now, I know reviews are subjective, but this last one was like super subjective. The humor can overstay its welcome at times. The amount of "Chang's a dumbass" jokes, they just get so old after a while. I swear, despite being the one that makes all this possible, he just gets shit on relentlessly. Not a big issue, but there are moments where I kind of wish the characters would just shut the hell up. Some of them are a bit over the top, but you could argue it makes them stand out in this world of just boring AAA video game characters. You can at least skip cutscenes, so that's nice. Other than that, though, that's pretty much it. Hi-Fi Rush is a game that I liked much more than I thought I was going to. The fast-paced battles are fun, the graphics are gorgeous, the characters are likable. Yeah, the levels blend a bit, and some of them may overstay their welcome, but it wasn't enough to make me hate the game or anything like that. Especially at $30, Hi-Fi Rush is easily worth the price, and I'm still chipping away at some of the side stuff. I'd say a solid 6 out of 7. I hope they release a physical edition soon. I'd buy that shit in a heartbeat for my Series X. You know, with all the open world 100+ hour TDM games releasing nowadays, something like this is an amazing palate cleanser. It doesn't overstay its welcome, it looks and sounds unique, the characters have heart. I really want more games like this. Not every game has to be a multi-$100 million game that has so much goddamn bloat. Anyway, wanted to keep it short and sweet today, like Hi-Fi Rush itself.